Hello and welcome back to our short take on Operation Sindoor and its aftermath. I'm joined again by Colonel Anurag Awasthi. We're going to be talking about the aftermath of Operation Sindoor, India's unprecedented surgical airstrikes against terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan across the length and breadth of Pakistan. Colonel Awasthi, quick take. What do you make of the attack, our messaging after the attack, post the attack, and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's statement late last night after the attack?
Morning, Sandeep. Firstly, my heart and my chest swells seeing Wing Commander Vyomika and Colonel Qureshi giving that outstanding brief yesterday along with the Foreign Secretary. It is not only messaging, it is one of the most profound things which the Indian establishment has done in a lot of time, Then coming down to the statement by Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif yesterday. You must see his body language. Firstly, what does he speak and what is the rhetoric? While he may speak some very high-flown words about the resolve part of it, etc., etc., but do you really think that that body language or the face or the facial expressions that he's displaying are in conjunction with what he's speaking? I really don't think so.
He looked very
Now, the third
uncomfortable.
part
I
is
think he looked distinctly uncomfortable when he was saying it.
extremely.
Like he had a gun to his head while he was saying it.
Absolutely. So his facial expressions, his body language did not correspond to the kind of rhetoric or the kind of things he was saying about the resolve and what they did and
Right,
what they are
right.
intending to do and all of that.
You think he was
Now
reading out from a
coming to
prepared text that was given to him by someone else? You know, in the way yeah, captors hand out notes for their hostages to read out on camera. You think it was something like that?
Absolutely, it looked like that. Really looked like that. Now there is the Indian statement by the National Security Advisor is very clear yesterday and very stern after he's spoken with a couple of envoys yesterday, and he says
Right.
very clearly that there is no intent to escalate,
Right.
but will be prepared to retaliate. How profound is this statement? There is
Right.
no attempt to escalate, but will be prepared to retaliate. And that's how it goes. I think that's the greatest response the Indian establishment can give to a belligerent nation, which is in itself in delusion as to
Right.
what it is.
But you know, a
The
quick
third part
question
is
to
I want to
yes. Please continue.
the third part is I want to know where is Munir? I can't see him anywhere. Or has he given that mental or that baton of that relay race to DG ISPR and now he will take it from there? I can't seem to see Munir. Where is that Munir who was standing on a VT4 along with the troops of 6th Armored Division 3-4 days ago? I can't seem to see him.
Right.
So that itself says a lot of things about Pakistan. The next take, Sandeep, is that you may say that nothing has happened, and there may be statement, and as I mentioned to you yesterday in the short take,
Right.
that there will be
Right.
misinformation all over the place.
Right.
Uh, do you really think that satellite pictures can lie?
Absolutely not. It's as clear as the sun in the sky. The pictures that emerged of those shattered complexes in Muridke and Bahawalpur very clearly. Terrorist infrastructure hit, bang on, spot on. We've been talking about it for decades, but I think Rubicon was crossed last night, where the government decided to finally strike for 25 years of Pak-sponsored terrorism. Uh, but you know, I'm getting ahead
And
of
and
the.
and where do they hide now? And where do they hide now? They say that you did Balakot and you did surgical strikes and nothing happened, and now there have been all high visibility targets known. The damage is very clear. The
Yes,
pictures have been shown to the world. Now, where is that? Where is the ambiguity that nothing has happened or it's very
absolutely.
partial
No
and all of that?
ambiguity whatsoever. But you know, Colonel Avasti, even if one were to take Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's statement at face value, the fact is that there will be a retaliation. Explain to our viewers where we are on the escalation ladder right now. We have struck very hard. We've hit Pakistan with Op Sindoor. We've seen them retaliate with border shelling. They've attacked a number of our civilians along the line of control. They've used mortars, they've used artillery. They've killed innocent civilians, as the Pakistan establishment is known for doing. But could there be an attack of the kind that we launched against them? Let's not forget, they also have a fairly capable air force. Could they use that air force again? And if so, how will India respond?
So let me break this down, Sandeep. Firstly, the shelling or the artillery fire all along the line of control. This is a usual playbook. There is
Right.
nothing out of the ordinary.
Hmm.
It's a usual playbook. That's exactly what they do. And then, thereafter, in the garb of that, my only fear is that there is no major infiltration, which they generally take it as a norm to do things.
Right.
The second part of the system is that what about their escalatory, mechanism or index? Do they have the affordability? That is part number
Can
one.
they afford to
Part number
escalate?
two is economic affordability. Can they intend doing something which will bleed them further or prosecute operations which would be economically catastrophic for them there as it is in a bad shape? Wars require a lot of financial backing, and it's a national effort, as we've spoken earlier. The second part is there internal issue within the army sorted out? Are they okay? It doesn't look to me because we've spoken about this earlier as to what exactly seems to be transpiring there. And the third part is, can they handle their own internal strife of what is happening in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa or what is happening in Balochistan and their two corps looking up north towards Afghanistan, towards the Durand Line? Can they do all of that? So if they can't do all of that, essentially, can they raise that escalatory ladder? It doesn't look very likely to me. It doesn't look very likely to me. Now, whether they choose to be overt or covert, I mean, I can't say that. But if you look at a full-blown conflict as of today, with the current capabilities that they have as an establishment, I really don't think so.
They lack the economic or the military muscle for a prolonged conflict. And when you say a prolonged conflict, are you talking in terms of days or weeks?
Now, this is a debatable question, because whether it is days or weeks, the conflict, any conflict has a large amount of, timelines insofar as planning is concerned, insofar as execution is concerned, insofar as, post-strike damage assessments are concerned, insofar as various other things are concerned. So while I would not stick to, weeks or days or months as to how much the conflict could be, but my sense tells me that a full-blown conflict today, with the current state of the Pakistani economy, the internal strife that they're facing, and the major, fissures that I find within their military, with a weak political government, it looks a little unlikely.
Right. Not even a swift airstrike, possibly against Indian military targets, because, like we were discussing yesterday, we have no terror infrastructure on our soil, certainly, which Pakistan could target. So that leaves military targets as a possible option. And if could they do that with using the Air Force? Could they strike at Indian military targets? And if so, how quickly will we respond?
We've been very careful, Sandeep. If you see, we have only hit the terror launch pads and the terror factories.
Right.
We have not touched any of the military installations or economic installations or the civic installations. We have not looked at, collateral damage insofar as, the local populace is concerned. Now, they, in an act of belligerence, in case they get into this misadventure and look at military targets in India, it is an absolute all-out act of war. Will they be able to sustain this act of war? That is the question. To my mind, there's a lot of debate on that. I'm sure which is going on in the heads of Pakistani army and the whatever little political establishment or whatever they call it. But I would really think that it will be rather foolhardy for them to do such a thing.
Right. Rather foolhardy for them to do something like this. But, given the unpredictability of the Pakistan establishment, you can't really be sure, Colonel Awasthi, given the fact that General Asim Munir has proved to be an unpredictable military chief, an army chief. Do you believe that the generals in the Pakistan army, and certainly the previous army chiefs who are still alive and still around in Pakistan or in their overseas, where many of them are believed to have settled down, you think they'd be really upset with General Munir for what he has landed the Pakistan military into? Because, like we were discussing earlier, and I have to, bring up that saying that whose poetry was that? Was it yours? The Mukhote and Chehre or Mukhote? The fact that
Yes, that's
the
correct.
mask of non-state actors has fallen off, and now the Pakistan military actually stands exposed.
I would, choose to answer it that, Pakistan military, historically is a little unpredictable.
Right.
Insofar as their, old chiefs or whosoever is concerned, or, their old, veterans and, their old policymakers, wherever they are all over the world. I have a feeling that they have understood that the Munir has got them into a little trouble spot.
Right.
B, I do not think the country has the wherewithal to look for an all-out offensive against numerically superior India in
Right.
terms of the three T's, the technology, the targets, and the capability of hitting the terrorist launch pads. This has been very clearly demonstrated yesterday in Operation Sindoor. So I personally would feel, or be happy to feel that while unpredictability is a good option, but then unpredictability cannot be bordering on foolhardiness.
Right. But that's exactly what the Pakistan military is known for, Colonel Awasthi. They think tactically. They throw the first punch and then let's see what happens after that. And then history shows it never goes down well for the Pakistan military, whichever way you look at it. From
So
19,
as I mentioned to you, as I mentioned to you, where is Asim Munir? I can't seem to see him. Where is he?
possibly in a bunker somewhere. But thanks so much, Colonel Awasthi. Very, very sharp insights from you indeed. One day after India's unprecedented surgical airstrikes against terrorist infrastructure through the length and breadth of Pakistan, Operation Sindoor. Thanks for joining us for those insights on the situation on the ground as it stands today. Thanks. We keep coming back to you for this. Thanks again.
Thank you very much, Sandeep. Great to take the short take with you today in the morning. Thank you.